Hello everybody and welcome back to Mythic Ocean. So today we are going for Alethea's bad ending, but we are also going for a diplomacy check, which is an achievement where to get this we have to get 2 gods on the good path and 2 gods on the bad path. So we are going to go for Alethea's bad ending, Lutra's bad ending, Amar's good ending, and the twins' good ending. So I'm going to be doing all of this off screen, except for Alethea, but just know that's what's going on in the background, because if we have them, a combination of good and bad disagreeing, but not outright war, then we'll get this achievement, and this seems like the best one to do it, because this is what the guide I'm following said to do. I will drop the link in the description for you if you're trying to achievement hunt as well, but that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to try. So let's get started. When I get to Alethea, I will let you know. Whoa! Okay, Alethea is here. Oh, hey there, friend. Over here. Good timing. I wanted to show you something. See that big door behind me? The one who built it does a lot of experiments in the ocean, and when she's away from her lab in the mid-sea, she keeps the store here locked down. But now it's unlocked, which means you should be able to head through and see what's out there. Me, I prefer it here where the water's warmer and brighter, but I know you like to travel and see new things, so you'll probably love it. Just wanted to let you know. Take it easy. I shall go see her right now. Mid-sea's time. Beep beep. Beep 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 beep. I'm here. Hello out there. Yes, you. I can see you. If you'd like to talk, please address the loudspeaker near the main entrance. Alright, I'm on it. Ah. All the noise. It is over here. So we've just basically got to encourage her to be irresponsible for this ending. Now then, any particular reason you're loitering outside my lab? I caught my attention. I haven't seen anything else like it in the ocean. Is that so? Well, can't say I blame you. This station of mine is one of a kind. How can I help you then? I'd like to learn more about this place. Ha! I don't really do tours. Much too busy for that. But you're welcome to have a look while I work if you like. You'll just need to let me scan you beforehand. Safety protocol. That okay with you? Makes sense. Let's do it. Very good. I'm going to open the first door in front of you. Just step in once you're ready. Whoop! Perfect. Now stay right there. You won't be able to move during the procedure, but don't worry. It only takes a few seconds. Whoa! All right, and, that teleporter you're carrying, it's one of my old prototypes. Well, no worries, feel free to keep it. The version I'm using now is much better. Anyway, the scan results are looking good. Congratulations, you're not an obvious threat. I'll open the second door for you. Just follow the tunnel straight ahead. All right, off I go. And upsy-daisy. Hello, Alethea. At last we meet face to face. Please have a look around. There's lots to see here. I shall, but I want to see you. Hello. Goodness, I haven't even introduced myself yet. I'm Alethea, and this is my humble workspace. And you are? Maybe you can tell me. Did that scan give you any clues? Well then, is that some kind of joke? For your information, I only collected the data to assess you as a potential threat. The scanner just analyzes your physical composition. I can't read mine, so don't worry, your secrets are safe. But wait, are you serious? You really have no idea who you are? It's true, no idea if I'll ever know either. That sounds difficult. No wonder you're feeling uncertain. This station I built, the work I do here, these things anchor me and remind me who I am. Without them, I'm not sure what I'd do. Don't give up hope, though. Sometimes I find solutions to problems I forgot I even had. You said you wanted to know more about the lab, correct? Might I ask why you're interested? This place is totally unique. I wanted to know more about who made it. Well, I certainly appreciate that. As it happens, I've been trying to unravel the mysteries of our world for a long time. That's why I built the station. It's a home base where I can conduct my studies. I'm doing some research now that might interest you, in fact. Feel free to ask me about anything. Let's see. Tell me about your research. I'd be glad to. Not long ago, my instruments picked up some energy signals I didn't recognize. These signals were coming from the deep ocean, hundreds of fathoms below the lab. Shortly afterward, a cloud of strange organic debris appeared in the mid-sea's water. I took some samples from the debris right away. I've been eager to study these samples and see whether they're connected to the signal somehow, but sadly, I've been too swamped lately. If you're short on time for this project, maybe I can help. Nonsense! We've only just met. I can't put you out like that. Although... Do you know Amar by any chance? Or the twins, Ketri and Esti? Yes, I know all three of them. Good. I've done various kindnesses for them in the past, and they all owe me favors. They were supposed to help me around the lab, but none of them have bothered to show up yet. At any rate, I could use an assistant on my current project, so perhaps you could speak to one of them for me. Doesn't matter who. It's a very simple task. Is that something I could entrust to you? Sure, no problem. Excellent! Very much appreciated. Once you're able to convince someone and send them directly here, they'll know where to find me. Sounds good. Want to talk about something else? How did you build this place? Believe me, it's been an arduous process. The final result's impressive though, isn't it? It even impresses me sometimes. But the station wasn't always as it is now. It's in a constant, never-ending state of refinement. And the most important tool of all is my fabricator. You may have seen it already. It's the golden structure built on the rocks above the water surface. It is what allows me to manufacture my creations with such precision, including the lab itself. How does the fabricator work? It can't just make something from nothing, right? You're on the right track. Here's how it works. The fabricator requires source materials. Then I'm on expeditions in the ocean. I'm always looking for new things to feed it. Organics, rocks, metals, it can break down about anything and reconstitute it. I also provide it with schematics so it knows how to build what I have in mind. Then I just fit the parts together and make sure they all work as intended. Alethea, have you perhaps played Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom? Sometimes they don't. No catastrophic failures yet, thankfully. How did you ever create something like that? Haha, I fear we'd be here far too long if I got into the nitty-gritty on that. Suffice to say, it was one of my greatest breakthroughs. Shall we discuss something else? Tell me about the huge telescope underneath this room. Oh, the telescope! It's got a way of catching the eye, doesn't it? As you may have noticed, the bottom of the lab has a metal housing to keep the telescope safe. There's a switch down there you can use to open or close it. Give it a try sometime. As for its purpose, I built the telescope to see far away things above the surface more clearly, but I wanted to try scanning the seafloor with it as well. It's hard to travel too deep because of the water pressure, much safer to view it all from here. But how do you see what's on the seafloor when it's so dark down there? Exactly, that's the problem I had to solve. Of course, you can't see it all without light, but I was curious whether anything at the seafloor might be giving off just a tiny bit, less than my eyes would see even with magnification. So I outfitted the telescope with the system to pick up light, convert it to electricity, then amplify it before turning it back into an image. And that did the trick. There is something down in the depths that projects halos of light. They're very faint, but they're there. I have no idea what the source is, still looking into it. Sounds mysterious, good luck. I'll keep at it. Shall we discuss something else then? Tell me about the glowing floating sheet above the station. Ah, yes! That is my solar sail. Have you ever wondered what provides the station with power? The answer is the sun. The sail is made out of a flexible material covered in solar cells. The top of the sail has a negative charge, while the bottom has a positive charge. When sunlight hits the sail, the resulting reaction creates a flow of electricity between the two layers. Then all I have to do is tap into that flow to power everything. Voila! But isn't there much sunlight down here? How does that affect all this? Good question. That's the challenge I was facing. Believe it or not, this station can move. I can raise it to the water surface or submerge it as necessary. At the surface, it's easy to capture lots of sunlight, but the deeper you go, the darker it gets, right? So I experimented with many different sail materials to harness solar energy more efficiently. But that wasn't enough. I also had to develop high-capacity batteries to store the power I generate at the surface where sunlight is plentiful. Come to think of it, my station is a bit like a whale. It can dive to impressive depths, but it has to return to the surface periodically to recharge. That's amazing! Thanks for telling me about it. My pleasure. Shall we discuss something else then? Have you seen that big pod in Moss Cavern? Yes, I've seen the strange pod. It's a fascinating thing. It even seems alive, doesn't it? I'd like to examine it further, but I've been reluctant to disturb it. I found out there's a little bug called Lutra that was living inside of it. Really? That sounds remarkable! Would you say it seems safe to go there now? Could I take a few samples in that area of the cave without worrying? Lutra seems totally harmless to me. You'll be fine. Excellent! I'm going to make a few preparations and then I'll be off. Thanks for the information. No problem. Alright, I don't know how to do this, because I just have to make sure if she's careless, and that, like, she doesn't really care about her data and stuff. I guess we'll figure it out as we go along. This place is incredible! The life form here are like nothing else in the ocean. I can't wait to study these samples back at the lab. Alright, let's see if we talk to Lutra, will anything change? I don't want to like, scold her. What's wrong? This one missed, familiar one. I'm here now, did something happen? Strange new one is in cave. New one brought device. Device using one came here to take things. Device using one is taking things now. Device using one said she only wants to take a few things to learn about them. Familiar one believes words of device using one? I do, she's a friend. This one lacks familiar one's certainty. After taking things, device using one approached this one. Device using one used strange machine. This one could not move. This one was not asked first. This one had very great fear. Many lights appeared, moving back and forth. This one could not struggle, could not leave. Then over. This one could move again, so went inside pod. I'm sorry that happened. Did you say anything to device using one? No, nothing to say. Too much fear. The device using one made a mistake. She didn't mean any harm, and you don't have to worry. These words, not enough for this one. What way does familiar one know truth of device using one? Maybe device using one not what familiar one believes. This one stays in pod until device using one is gone. Alright, well, I'm not helping. Or will I? Let's see, what do you have to say? Alright, looks like I'm about ready to head back. Shall we meet again at the lab? Sounds good! Alright, I'm off then. See you shortly. Who needs consequences to your actions? Who needs to learn from your mistakes? Not me. On my way. Hello. Good to see you again. Anything you'd like to talk about? Have you examined your samples from the moss cavern yet? Yes, I've looked at them closely, and I must say, the results have changed many of my basic assumptions about the ocean. Would you like to hear about my findings? Yes, please. Excellent, let's start with the basics. All those odd fern-like plants growing near Lutra's pod are very unusual. I can't stress that enough. The fern cells have more in common with the pod than anything else in the ocean. I suspect the pod somehow created the ferns, possibly via waterborne spores. That makes sense. There were ferns inside the pod too, but Lutra had to leave because they stopped growing. Yes, exactly. I did see the remains of many well-eaten ferns in the pod. So, if the pod, the ferns, and even Lutra have so little in common with other life in the ocean, my hypothesis is that they all came from somewhere else. Another planet, perhaps. Another world. I don't know how that's possible, but I can't think of a better explanation. Wow, I never considered that. Amazing, isn't it? But if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear what I discovered about Lutra itself. Shall I explain? Yes, please go on. Very good. I think you'll find this quite fascinating. First, much to my surprise, Lutra seems capable of telepathic communication. Yeah, I knew that. Oh, you did? Yep, Lutra and I have spoken a lot and always talks in your head. Well, that confirms my theory. There's more to the story than just that, however. The data I gathered suggest parts of Lutra's brain that grant its power are underdeveloped. They're likely to grow substantially at some point, and who knows what it'll be capable of then. That's exciting! I agree! I'm excited to see what happens with this strange creature. Finally, here's the last tidbit, and it's a doozy. Within its body, Lutra has what we call imaginal cells. These cells will one day transform into new body parts as Lutra takes on a different form. In other words, Lutra is meant to undergo metamorphosis, which isn't too surprising, but it gets weirder. These imaginal cells of Lutra seem to be in a constant state of shifting and changing. I have no idea what to make of this. Maybe there are many different things it could turn into depending on its environment. Your guess is as good as mine, Alethea. Better, probably. Ha! My guesses are very well informed, it's true. Thank you for listening, my friend. It's a joy sharing these findings with someone else. Anytime. Let's see, is there anything else? Not right now. We'll talk again later. The kelp forest is down! I'm gonna see if I can get Alethea here and force her to freeze Lutra. Alright, let's see. The forest is in frenzy. Let's see what Alethea can do. Let's see. Alethea, the kelp forest is in trouble. I was wondering if I could get your help. Oh? What kind of trouble? Well, Lutra left the moss cavern for the forest to find more food and it's eating huge amounts of kelp. I tried to get it to stop, but it's too hungry to listen. Goodness, that does sound like a potential crisis. Has Lutra also grown bigger by any chance? Yeah, Mar and I both noticed it was larger than it used to be. Just as I thought. I bet it's getting ready to start its metamorphosis. My studies of Lutra suggested this would happen sooner or later. It's eating all this food to fuel the amazing transformation that will soon take place. Fascinating, but is there any way we can stop it from devouring the whole forest? Right. Certainly we don't want that to happen. Well, it seems to me that Lutra was meant to feed on something else once it was done with the ferns. Perhaps if we could give it something more nutritious, it wouldn't have to eat so much. Have you found anything in the ocean that might feed Lutra better? Well, come to think of it, I did once find a strange plant in the mid-seas with large edible fruits. These fruits were unusually nutrient-dense. The problem is I'm not sure such a plant would contain the right nutrients for Lutra. However, I might be able to create a crossbreed that combines the best qualities of the ferns and the nutritious fruit. Ideally, a small number of these hybridized plants would sustain Lutra for the rest of its feeding frenzy. Great, let's do that. Unfortunately, I can't have these new plants ready immediately. I have machines that can speed up the growth process, but it's still going to take some time. If Lutra's still eating kelp out there, the forest might be in serious danger. So in order to protect the flora and fauna of the kelp forest, we should use the paralyzer component of my scanning device to prevent Lutra from moving until the plants are ready. We know it works on Lutra, so it should be a very reliable method. Does that sound alright to you? Yep, I agree. Alright, I'll get to work then. The plants will be delivered to the kelp forest as soon as they're ready. Thanks so much, Alethea. I don't know what we would have done without you. I am still an enabler. Not a problem, my friend. I'm always happy to help preserve our ocean's natural splendor. Shall we talk about something else? Nope, you gotta go. Do your thing. Alright, back in the kelp forest. Oh, hey, friend. A lot sure happened since you were here last. Tell me everything I missed. Well, I don't know if you've had a look around the forest yet, but could have been worse, I guess. We lost the kelp that Lutra ate when it first got here, plus a few other areas. But we still got more than half, at least. Once you left, Lutra kept eating, and I was gonna try and distract it, but then Alethea showed up and used some kind of weird device that froze Lutra in place. It freaked me out, friend. I get why she did it, but I could tell that Lutra was really shaken up. Anyway, Alethea left after that and came back a little while later. She brought a ton of plants with her, stuff I've never seen anywhere else before. She unfroze Lutra and then it went totally crazy for the new plants. Just when I thought it might never stop eating, it was finally full. And then it headed back to Moss Cavern like nothing ever happened. Alright, so we got the paralyzed and I was able to keep Amar on the right track too. Alright, I just picked up some more pages. We've almost got everything, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, we're only missing 2. So that's good. But first, let's see what else we gotta do. Good to see you again. Anything you'd like to talk about? Oh yeah, I sent Amar this time, because I was curious about how that would go. How'd the lab work go? Very nicely, better than I'd hoped even. The first task was to compare the samples I found recently to others I've collected. I needed my assistant to view them all under a microscope and note any differences. Amar was rather nervous at first, surprisingly. They asked to see some of my own sample notes so they'd know how it was done. After that, they did quite well. I reviewed their comparisons and they seemed consistent with my own findings. The second task was a bit trickier, but I felt Amar was up to it with a bit of supervision. I needed the samples exposed to various external influences such as heat, cold, and electricity. With careful notes taken on the results, of course. Amar was on high alert, still a bit nervous, but I could tell they wouldn't be missing anything. I haven't reviewed their notes from those tests yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Amar was a big help. Thanks for making this happen, friend. I'm glad I could help. I'm glad to hear things went smoothly. Indeed. Shall we talk about something else? Hey. Good to see you again. Did you find any connections between the samples and the signals from the deep ocean? As a matter of fact, yes. All my tests suggest the signals and the organic debris came from the same place on the ocean floor. I believe some kind of electromagnetic pulse occurred down there, sending the signals and debris far and wide. My readings also indicate that whatever the source is, it's capable of generating huge amounts of energy. Such a powerful supply would be indispensable if I could harness it. It might be just the breakthrough I need. What's the next step? Good question. But in order to give you an answer, I need to explain a few things. You may have wondered why I'm so driven in my research. There are wondrous things here in the ocean, yes, but there's more to it than that. Have you ever noticed that our world almost never changes? To think about the kelp forest or the coral reef, these places are exactly as they've always been. No one can remember a time when things were different, and no one ever leaves. I fear we are all trapped here in some sort of endless dream or illusion. If there's a purpose to this place, none of my research has given me any clues so far. I want to learn the truth about the ocean, my friend. I have plans I I have plans now for an overhaul of this lab that will vastly increase my data gathering capabilities, but the new energy demands will far outstrip what the solar sail can currently provide. So that's why you need this energy source in the depths. Correct! You might recall that your teleporter is one of my old prototypes. I could modify it to enable transport to the energy source. I know the exact coordinates from tracing the signals during my studies, if you might be willing to help me. Perhaps you could investigate the source and report back what you find. It's a big ask, I know, but with your help I could get so much done on my equipment upgrades in the meantime. What do you say?
Sounds good, I'm in.
Splendid, I'm so glad to hear it. I'll modify your teleporter right away. It'll only take a moment. There, all set. I've outfitted the teleporter with some basic data sensors as well, so we can examine those readings when you get back. Thank you, my friend. I can't wait to hear about your findings.
All right, off I go. I'm sure this will go totally fine. I'm gonna skip Gnosis for you guys just because I'm tired of that guy. All right, my conversation is over. I'm gonna go back to Alethea now. Totally gonna work. What's this? Oh my god. Alright, we're gonna save these people, but I'm gonna be a dick about it, because that's how this run is going. Let's get to the middle of this place. It's safer there. I got no idea what you're talking about. You go, I'll just stay here for now. Pull yourself together! You're gonna lose your mind completely if you stay out here. You're probably right, I know. Maybe you could just show me how to get back there? Fine, follow me then, you stupid loser fish. Stupid loser fish. Alright, let's go. I'm so mean. I like how I'll swear all the time, but then to the fish I'm just like, loser, you're a loser.
You're back! I'm glad you've returned safely. How did it go?
I made some unexpected discoveries.
Just what I like to hear. Please tell me everything.
First things first, the energy source you've been after is called Gnosis. We talked for a while.
You... what? I had considered that the energy source might be alive, but it's intelligent? You were able to speak with it?
Well, I didn't so much speak with it as more as I did really quickly click fast its dialogue because I'm focused on you and I don't like Gnosis, but yeah, we spoke. It seems like Gnosis is even aware you've been studying them.
My word! This is a bit overwhelming.
I understand, but there's something else I saw that I want to ask you about.
Oh? Please go on.
When I tried to leave the depths, the teleporter malfunctioned somehow. It took me to a strange, distorted place I've never seen before.
I see. What did you find there?
There were fish and other creatures. Seemed they'd been stuck there for a long time. Some weren't very coherent.
That sounds terrible and frightening. How did you get back?
The teleporter started working again after I'd been there for a bit. I'm not sure what fixed it.
Very strange. Perhaps the teleporter's sensor data will provide me with more clues. I'll investigate when I have time.
You seem nervous, Alethea. Are you sure you don't know anything more about all this?
Well, I can't be certain, but there's a chance one of my past experiments might have caused this.
I think I know what you mean. Amar told me they saw you experimenting with a fish once and it disappeared.
I didn't realize they had witnessed that. Alright, let me explain. What Amar saw was one of my early experiments in teleportation. The purpose of these tests was to find a safe way out of the ocean, which didn't work, of course. I must stress that all my participants were willing, and I made sure they understood the risks. For instance, I theorized that a teleport subject could end up stuck somewhere, an unknown place outside the normal boundaries of the ocean, a breach in the fabric of reality, if you will. But it was only a theory, and not a likely one. At any rate, because of these risks, it was hard to find willing subjects. But there will always be those adventurous enough to brave the unknown, just as you and I do.
But you didn't check up on those participants afterwards? You must have noticed some had gone missing.
I did. In almost every case, I confirmed the subject had been teleported somewhere safe. But yes, there were a few whom I never found. I suppose the poor souls you met in the breach were the missing ones. It is horrible they met such a fate, but we are all trapped in this ocean anyway. That research had to be done, and their safety was never guaranteed. They knew the risks.
Sounds like there's not much we can do.
No, I don't think so either. I have no idea how I'd replicate the teleporter malfunction that sent you to the breach. I don't even know what caused it. Could it be that your proximity to the energy source, Gnosis, might have overloaded the teleporter somehow?
Maybe? It sounds possible.
Would you mind visiting the depths again? If Gnosis was the cause, maybe they'll have some idea to send you back. It's risky, yes, but you made the round trip once, so I think your chances of doing so a second time are good. I will remain here at the lab, so I can attempt to find you with my instruments if anything goes wrong.
I'll give it a shot.
I can't thank you enough, my friend. Let me know what happens as soon as you get back.
I will, but I'm not going to be particularly helpful. So Gnosis just asked me if I think that the risks are okay, and I'm gonna agree just because I am on her side. I think Alethea's right. You can't make progress without risks. I am inclined to agree, but it is a difficult balance to maintain. Endanger those who trust you with their lives, and you will lose that trust very quickly. But let us return to the topic at hand. Whatever your reasons may be, you wish to free the creatures trapped in the breach. We cannot force your teleporter to send you there again. I know nothing more about why that happened than you or Alethea. That said, I am capable of creating portals that link to places as long as I can see the starting point and the destination. And both Midseas and the breach lie within my range of sight. I could create a portal that allows the trapped creatures to escape the breach, but it will require a great deal of energy. Perhaps in your travels you have found your way to the Library of Antiquity. A large book rests there whose pages have been lost and scattered. These pages contain records of the old world, and they are sources of great power. But because my body is confined to the depths, I cannot retrieve them myself. Bring 4 of those pages to me, and I will have the energy I need to create the portal to the breach. Talk it over with Alethea, see if she agrees to these terms. If you are both in agreement, we will proceed. Alright. I'm not freeing the creatures. I don't care. Hey! I'm gonna just float around you real quick. Sorry, I just felt like violence. It happens sometimes.
Good to see you again. Why are you breaking my shit? Anything you'd like to talk about?
I took another trip to the depths.
Oh, that's a relief. Thank you again for giving it a go. Were you able to access the breach?
No, unfortunately. And Gnosis said they didn't know what caused the teleporter malfunction either.
Alright, that's discouraging. Anything else?
Gnosis offered to help us free the creatures trapped in the breach.
What? Excuse me, that's just very unexpected. Do you know how they plan to help?
Gnosis can create portals that link to places. They're offering to open one in the breach so the creatures can escape.
Remarkable. Is there any sort of catch? Are they asking us for anything in return?
Gnosis can draw power from the pages of a book in the Library of Antiquity. They need 4 of these pages in order to open the portal.
Library of Antiquity? I've never heard of such a place.
There are gateways leading to the library scattered across the ocean. You never seen them?
I haven't. This is surprising. I thought I'd documented almost everything in the ocean, but apparently not.
I know how to get there, don't worry.
All right, if you say so. Normally, this is something I would think long and hard about, but I spent so much time and effort trying to determine whether the breach exists. It was all fruitless. I can't imagine how I'd ever get there deliberately. I think our best bet is to work with Gnosis to free the missing ones.
Are you sure? We really don't know if Gnosis can be trusted.
I agree, we can't be certain, but if we will never be. We know that Gnosis is willing to help us do something charitable. Frankly, that's enough for me. And furthermore, I fear the only alternative is leaving those missing ones to their fates. I am at a dead end in my research on teleportation in the breach. I don't even know where I'd begin if I were to pick it up again. Now that we have this option, it might be the only way we can save them.
Maybe you're right. I wouldn't want to turn this down and risk trapping the missing ones forever.
I'm glad you see what I mean. Well, I'll leave the final decision up to you then. Concerning the breach, I'm not happy with where my choices have landed me, so I'll follow your lead here. What should we do?
I don't think we should do it. We'll just have to hope there's another way.
Well, it goes against my instincts, but alright, I'll trust your judgment. Let Gnosis know we don't want to collaborate, and that'll be the end of it.
Right, thanks for hearing me out. I don't know if this will get us the bad ending, but I'm assuming it will. Just because we're not helping, we're not making up for her mistakes, so... Alright, I got the twins' crystal, and we're not going to give it back to them. We're just going to let Alethea take it. No consideration as usual. Kitchery Nesty gave me a broken device of theirs to see if anyone could fix it. Do you have time to take a look at it?
Oh, is that so? What sort of device is it?
It's a crystal that projects images of where they used to live. They seem pretty attached to it.
Interesting. There's just one problem. Those two still haven't paid me back for the favor I did them ages ago. I'm not sure they ever plan to settle their debt with me at this point, so can you see why I'm reluctant to help them now?
I understand, Alethea, but please consider helping us out anyway.
Why should I exactly?
The crystal's the only thing the twins have left of their own home. It means a lot to them.
Yes, fair enough. I see why the device is so important to them, and that does matter. But I'm not sure that's reason enough to go out of my way for this.
I know the twins haven't paid you back, but I think they think of it as a favor to me, not the twins. I'll repay the debt, even if they don't.
I appreciate it, but that's not the issue here. You may be willing to repay a favor, but it's the twins' lack of respect that's bothering me.
Maybe figuring out how it would be useful for your other projects.
That's certainly quite possible. It's a rare chance for me to study some unfamiliar technology after all. Alright, these are some good points, my friend. I'll lend a hand and we'll see what comes off of it. Did you bring the device with you? May I have a look?
Sure, here you go.
Aha, that's strange. Well, I must say I have no idea how this thing works. It'll take me some time to figure out how it ticks. Never mind how it broke or how to fix it. In the meantime, perhaps let the twins know the work is underway?
Will do. Thanks. You're the only one I know who can tackle something like this.
You're lucky you know me, that's for sure.
You're not lucky you know me. I'm not a good friend.
Now give me some space. I've got some work to do.
Okie dokie. Is it done yet? Is it done yet? Is it done yet? Do you want me to break more of your things?
Good to see you again.
Let's see. The twins are getting a little anxious. How goes your work on the crystal?
Well, it turns out it stopped working due to misalignment of its lenses. It might have been hit with something, or maybe natural wear and tear on the parts did it in. Progress came swiftly once I figured that out.
Great, is it almost ready then?
Yes, the repairs are nearly complete, but I've made some discoveries that might surprise you. Namely, the crystal is not simply a projector of stored images, it's a one-way communication device. This thing is getting signals from somewhere very, very far away, and it's translating those signals into pictures and sounds. I can't send a response though, I'm not certain it ever could.
Wow, you weren't kidding, I had no idea.
Indeed, it's quite a finding, isn't it? Anyway, it seems to me the twins must be using the crystal to observe their old home in real time. Ketri and Esty are ill-behaved, but they've been haunted by something ever since I met them. I don't know all the details, only that they were exiled from their home for some reason. Now that I've seen this thing, I think I understand their predicament better. Having access to a live feed of what you left behind, even though you can never return, that could be enough to drive someone mad. So I was thinking, we could undo the repairs. We could tell them it couldn't be fixed.
I agree. The crystal isn't helping the twins and it might be making things worse for them. We shouldn't fix it.
Yes, it's a tough decision, but that's what I'm leaning towards as well. I'm going to make a few modifications to the crystal. Just a moment.
I'm a terrible friend.
There, the crystal is back to the way it was when you brought it here. Just tell Ketri and Esty it couldn't be repaired. It's for the best.
Thanks, Alethea. Sorry to waste your time on this.
I wouldn't call it a waste. We learned valuable things we wouldn't have known otherwise. Good luck talking to them, my friend.
All right. Let's make some children sad. Ketri, Esty, I'm sorry, but Alethea said the crystal couldn't be fixed.
Huh? What do you mean? No way, that can't be. Oh, I get it. It's a joke. You're joking, right? Come on, new friend. Don't scare us like that.
No, it's not a joke. The crystal can't be fixed. I'm so sorry.
That's impossible. It always worked before.
There has to be a way, new friend. Take it back to Alethea. Tell her we need the crystal.
Alethea knows how important the crystal is to you. She did everything she could. She's sorry too. Find someone else. Can't you take it to someone else?
I don't think so. If Alethea couldn't fix it, I don't know who else could.
This is crazy. What are we gonna do?
Hello.
Oh, I'm glad you've returned. I wanted to get your thoughts on some concerns I've had recently. Might you have a moment?
Sure, what's up?
Well, it's all to do with my research and the goals of it. You'll remember my studies have always been focused on finding the truth about the ocean. I know this place has a purpose, all my research to date suggests so, but the answers remain frustratingly out of reach. At least things have improved when it comes to getting assistance. You've been a great help and Amar was unexpectedly productive as well, but it took considerable time and effort to make that happen. I'm not sure now if it was worth it. Was I wrong to try and recruit others?
go with this, because if there is nobody with her, then she'll go for the first choice more often, which is the bad choice. It's tough managing people. Maybe you would have gotten more done if you were working by yourself.
Ha, you might as well be right about that. Perhaps it's time for me to embark on an extended period of solo work. Putting that aside, you might recall that I had a number of enhancements prepared for the lab. This was, of course, before we learned that Gnosis was the source of the energy I sought for those upgrades. It's been difficult to avoid feeling discouraged since then. At this point, I have no idea how or even if I'll be able to upgrade the lab as planned.
Yeah, that was a big setback. I bet if you double down on your studies and exploration, you'll be able to find a new power source. Overwork yourself, man.
Indeed, I certainly hope so. I'm going to need to work even harder from now on. But speaking frankly, even if I had completed the lab overhaul by now as I had originally hoped, there would still be a problem, gnawing away at me a tiny bit at a time. It's the thought, no, the fear, that no matter how hard I work, no matter what tools are at my disposal, I will never know the truth. This endless dream or illusion, whatever it is, it will truly never end, and I will never know what it's for. What do I do about that, my friend? Do you think there's anything I can do?
Your work is what drives you, and you should immerse yourself in it. The harder you work, the closer you'll get. It'll pay off someday.
Well, fortunately, I am industrious and self-sufficient. No matter how much work remains, whether or not I'll ever find more helpers, I will never stop pursuing the truth. Thank you so much for hearing me out, my friend. I appreciate it a great deal.
Of course, always happy to help. Hey buddy, check out that glow, huh? That is what we call the gift of creation. Looks like the new world's all set to go. Just let me know when you're ready. I'll make the crown and then we'll be good to go. How do we start the new world? First you'll decide who to give the crown to. After that, all you gotta do is pick up the gift. It'll be the end of your time here once we kick things off, so make sure to tie up all your loose ends first. I'm ready. First off, the moment our crown's been waiting for. Which of the gods is gonna get the power it holds? I want to give the crown to Alethea. Good choice, buddy, and with that, we send it on its way. All that's left now is the gift. Once you've picked it up, you'll be good to go. Woohoo! The time has come! For a time, I continued to feel myself rising towards the heavens. Eventually, I came to a stop, and the blinding light around me slowly faded away. Somehow, I was suspended among the stars. In that silent void, I began to recall the full extent of my role in the cycle. In the ocean, it was my task to advise the gods and help determine the next creator. But once the new world was born, I would become the historian, eternal observer and record keeper of every mortal age. I realized then that the book in the Library of Antiquity was written by me, to preserve history of an era past. Soon I would be starting a new book and filling its pages with all the events to come. I could sense that the gift of creation was ready to move forward. But was I? I wished I could speak with them one last time. At that point, only Alethea remained, and somehow I knew this meant she had been chosen as the creator. Sure enough, Alethea appeared a moment later, adjusting her goggles and looking thoughtful.
Oh, well, hello. You can open portals too? Were you able to do this all along?
I explained that I wasn't sure where the portal had come from either. Perhaps I'd created it unconsciously, or maybe it was under the control of someone or something else.
I see, but more importantly, what is happening to the ocean right now? All the creatures are vanishing and there's an odd bright light coming from the sky.
I told Alethea that a new world would soon be taking this one's place, and she was the one who'd be creating it. I placed the gift of creation in front of me and it passed through the portal to reach Alethea.
So, I worked all my life to find a way out of the ocean, and it turns out this was how it always fated to end? I won't ask if this is something you always knew. I fear I wouldn't like the answer. But no matter, the power you've given me will allow me to make something new. Something better. Thank you. I'll put it to good use.
I asked if Alethea had any thoughts yet on what kind of world she'd be making.
There's nothing you can't accomplish with technology, my friend. You can bet the people of my world will understand that. I want them to go as far as they possibly can with science on their side. I want them to see and explore the far reaches of their cosmos. But beyond that, we'll have to wait and see. I explained I'd be there to write the events of history, and she could always talk to me about how things were going if she wished. Sounds good to me. I appreciate that. See you on the other side, then. My head was swimming with possibilities for how the new world might turn out. But of course, the decisions were all up to Alethea now, not me. So I gathered my things and prepared to record what happened. Using the gift of creation, Alethea brought forth a new world from nothingness. The mortals of this world developed a passion for the sciences. Soon they were expanding their cities on a massive scale and filling it with industrial wonders. But rather than placing any rules or regulations on their technologies, they let corporations do as they please and imposed no limits. Thick pollution blocked out the sun on most days. The dim city streets were illuminated only by the glow of street lamps and garish advertisements. Wealthier mortals lived in skyscrapers towering above the clouds, doing their best to avoid contact with the smog-choked realm below. Sounds like our world. Oh! Before long, the planet was barely habitable, and the mortals' natural resources were mostly depleted. The mortals began to cast their gaze towards the stars, hoping for a fresh start elsewhere. Though Alethea took pride in the mortals' ambition, she also worried about their future. She considered intervening to help them, but decided it'd be best to let them forge their own path. They've accomplished amazing things in such a short time, she mused. I trust them to find a breakthrough that will help them survive. The mortals mastered space travel next and built orbiting colonies near other planets in the solar system. The cities aboard their space stations produced just as much waste as their earthbound settlements. In time, they had drained these new planets of their resources as well. Could their way of life remain sustainable forever? In the far reaches of space, Lutra had given birth to thousands of offspring. Driven by their limitless hunger, the moth-like creatures stripped many planets bare of their vegetation. They understood that they would not be opposed by Alethea and the mortals, so they were pleased. These ones hunger always. Freedom to devour is appreciated. I don't know how much longer these oceans and jungles are gonna last. Someone's gotta do something about it, right? The idea of challenging Alethea about the rules of her world frightened Damar, but the consequences of standing by while the mortals destroyed what they'd been given seemed far worse. Ketri and Esti were also opposed to Alethea's hands-off approach. The mortals need our help, they said. If they keep living like this, pretty soon there's gonna be no planets left to live on. So they decided to convince Alethea to manage her world differently. Oh! Amar gained an audience with Alethea and presented their case. Alethea, I'm not a big fan of rules, but the mortals are gonna burn out every planet in the universe if we don't give them some guidance. Let's teach them how to have a better relationship with nature, yeah? The twins accompanied Amar and offered their advice as well. Amar's right. The mortals are gonna keep ruining their worlds like this, unless we help them come up with rules for everyone to follow. Alethea considered what they had to say and conferred with her supporters. But in the end, Alethea couldn't be convinced, and she decided things would stay the way they were. As for Gnosis, although they wished to seize the gift of creation and shape reality to their liking, all their data indicated that such an uprising would not succeed. So Gnosis remained hidden in the depths, biding their time and waiting for the perfect opportunity. So we got democracy, but it didn't work. She refused. With Alethea maintaining control, the mortal society continued its technological processes at breakneck speeds. Intergalactic space travel became a reality, but with so few regulations in place, people were free to satisfy their greed and exploit whoever and whatever they wanted. Corporations ran rampant, and the planet after planet buckled under the stress of their civilization. Alethea wondered if there might have been a better way. But in the end, she was pleased. They had found a way to survive. And so the mortals will live, a trail of dead and dying worlds in their wake, until the cycle begins anew. Nice, we got Diplomacy Check and Megacorp Universe, which is Alethea's ending. We've reached another ending, and oh my goodness, that one's a sad one. She's so focused on technological advancements that she doesn't care about the consequences of it. And it doesn't matter what gets destroyed as long as they continue advancing, right? Even if their continued advancement is based on their desire to survive. But after that comes the greed and the gluttony that we saw from before with stripping the planets bare.
I wonder if good Lucher was on their side. Do you think that she would have been convinced, or would have it just gone straight to war? I don't know. That would be interesting to find out sometime. We'll have to see. Maybe someday. But next time we're doing the twins. It is the twins' bad ending coming up next. And then after that, we're going to go back to Amar and start with all the good endings. So look forward to all of that. But until then, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. Remember to take care of yourselves. Remember, for science, the truth! And have a good day.